going on? What's going on? It's Lady Dre, and welcome to Healing Sessions. So, thank you for tuning in to day 2 of Tubemas 2022. And so, yeah, we're going to get into this story time. And this story time has a little bit to do with like betrayal, right? And the question I have for you is like, if you found out that somebody that was really close to you, how would you handle if you found out that they betrayed you? And it wasn't until years later, but check it out. All right. So boom. So I had just moved to North Carolina. I had just moved from California. And, I was young. You know what I'm saying? This is like 95, right? So I wasn't even, I'm like 14, right? So some of my first cousins they already lived in North Carolina before we had even moved to North Carolina, right? So when we got there that summer of 95, they already lived there, whatever. So they already had friends and things like that. And they had been there for a while, I want to say, you know what I'm saying? But they lived in California too, as well. But so, yeah, they already lived there. So they had friends and stuff like that. So when we get there, I'm meeting like new cousins that I hadn't met that were, on my mom's side or whatever. And then of course my other cousins that I already knew, you know what I'm saying, that they were there. And so, we're all just like getting to know each other, whatever. Well, my cousin, and we're close in age, right? So, it was this guy that she liked. Now, I didn't know that she liked him, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think nobody really knew that she liked him. Or people might have had an inkling, but they really did, like, it was never like, she never said anything, right? So of course when I get there, you know what I mean, I meet my new cousin's friend or whatever. And so, like, we're all hanging out, we're riding off in the country, just like, you know what I'm saying, just doing country stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, like, I'm from California, so all this is kind of new to me, you know what I mean? So we hanging out or whatever, and my cousin introduces me to his friend, right? And so we'll call his friend, his name will be, we'll call him David, okay? So so he introduces me to David or whatever, and we immediately like hit off. Now David's only like a few years older than me. I want to say he might have been like if I was 14, he might have been 16, and about to turn 17. So I was about to turn 15 like later on in that year. So we hang out or whatever, and like, David's really cool, you know what I'm saying? David, he's like, he's a church boy, his dad's a pastor or whatever. So his parents are kind of like really kind of strict anyway too. So, but him and my cousin, the one that I had just met, they're like really good friends or whatever. So, he can go hang out with him, and they play like basketball stuff together. So, you know what I'm saying? It was things that he could do like outside of just like church. But he was, for the most part, he was like, a church boy. He was like very respectful, you know what I'm saying? Very like chill. He wasn't like, it was never nothing like, you know what I'm saying, him trying to be like aggressive with me or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? He was just really cool. Matter of fact, he was like really shy too, you know what I mean? So, we hang out, whatever, and so he invites me to go to the movies, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, well, since I'm going with my new cousin, like, I should be able to go to the movies or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I asked my aunt, could I go? And she was like, well, if you go, you know what I'm saying, your other cousin has to go, you know what I'm saying? And we'll call her, let's call her, Betty. Okay. So, she's like, if you want to go to the movies, you know what I'm saying, then you need to invite, Betty has to go with you. So I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying, whatever, like, it's not a big deal. So I tell my new cousin, I'm like, hey, like, and I'm telling David, like, you know what I'm saying, if you want me to go to the movies, like, we have to bring Betty. So they're like, and kind of, and my new cousin was kind of like, man, like, why we gotta bring her? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying, like, I just met my new cousin, you know what I'm saying, I don't really know David. and they're friends. However, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I know they ain't gonna do nothing to me, but still, it's like, you know what I'm saying, you need to bring somebody with you. So so they scrambled, because David wanted to go to the movies with me so bad. They scrambled to find somebody else to go to the movies with Betty, right? So we all go to the movies, whatever, we all hanging out, whatever. Now, mind you, like I said, Betty has never told me that she liked David. Nobody's ever said anything about Betty liking David. You know what I mean? So boom. So we go to the movies, whatever. We have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything's all good. But you could tell that she's kind of acting like a little weird or whatever. And so that was that. So we go back home, and we're just like sitting there chilling, talking, whatever. So David pretty much is telling me like how much like he likes me or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, how hopefully we can be able to hang out some more, whatever. So pretty much for that whole summer, like, they would come over, like we would all hang out and chill, you know what I'm saying? It would just be like, we all be cool, whatever. So, okay, boom. So now the summer's almost over, whatever. Now, mind you, during the summer, you know what I'm saying, of course, David asked me to be his girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to be a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Because David was cute, you know what I'm saying? Like, he put me in the mind frame of, like, Penny Hardaway, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, okay, yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had a thing for Penny back in the day, you know what I mean? So, we're hanging out, whatever. So the summer's almost over now. Now, you know what I'm saying? My mom, she's on the way back. And because she was in another city, but she was like getting stuff together, you know what I'm saying, for us to, to move to the other city, even though we were still in North Carolina. So the summer's almost over, whatever. And now it's time for everybody to go back to school, you know what I'm saying? And so, so we all go back to school. Now, mind you, now I'm like, where I was only like maybe like 30 minutes away from David, now I'm like 2.5 hours away from David, you know what I'm saying? So we young, you know what I mean? We don't drive, and so of course, you know what I'm saying, like, it's just like school is schooling, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? We doing our thing, whatever. He at his school, 2.5 hours away. I'm at my school 2.5 hours away. I meet new people. He meet new people. And the thing was, like, with David's family, like, he couldn't even talk on the phone, like, to girls, you know what I'm saying? It was like his parents were very strict, you know what I mean? And granted, like, we were young, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, so it was very often that we could, like, be able to, like, talk to each other, you know what I'm saying? And the only time we did talk to each other is like when he might have been away with my other cousin, and they were like hanging out or something like that, and then like he would call me or whatever, and that's how we would talk or whatever. But for the most part, we didn't talk on the phone every day, but we were still like boyfriend and girlfriend. Now that just shows you, though, like, even at that age, you don't even realize like how it's just not going to work, you know what I'm saying? But you're determined for it to work, right? And so so yeah, we do that, you know what I'm saying? So now, by this time, though, of course, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm meeting people, he's meeting people at school, whatever. This is my first year in a new state, you know what I'm saying, let alone a new city, you know what I mean? Just a whole bunch of different things going on, you know what I mean? But I'm still like kind of being, not even kind of, I'm being like true to him, faithful to him, but I'm still meeting new people and things like that, you know what I mean? So so then, like, so one weekend we go down to see like my cousins or whatever, right? And so, and this we go to see Betty and her family, whatever. So we go down there, and of course, like, I want to be able to see David, but you know what I'm saying, I don't even know how to get in contact with him because we kind of fell off a little bit or whatever. And I think I might have reached out to him, but I don't think I reached out to him. I reached out. No. I reached out to him, let him know I was there, and like he came up with my other cousin, and they all like we all hung out, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, of course, we hadn't seen each other. Now by this time it's been some months because school started, and you know what I'm saying, we're doing our own thing, whatever, and he's doing basketball, and like I said, I'm 2.5 hours away, and so whatever. So so when I come down, by this time, Betty, like, you know what I'm saying, we're a little bit older, whatever. And Betty has a I'm trying to think, like, me and David might have talked for like maybe a year, if that, like, you know what I'm saying, after I left, like after the summer '95. And so so when I go down to when we go down to visit our family, you know, Betty's family or whatever, she's like, oh, I got something to tell you, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much like, she's like telling me how David is, you know, messing with some girl at his school. So I'm like, so listen, to mind you, I'm young, you know what I'm saying? So I'm all distraught. Like, I thought he was like, like, you know what I'm saying? He was true. He was going to be faithful. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be this good guy, whatever, 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 whatever. And mind you, like, we never did anything. Like, I'm still a virgin at this time, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, um, so she's like, yeah, you know, he's messing with this girl. They're supposed to be like, you know, hooking up, and they for real. Like, so I'm like, I'm just like so hurt. Like, I'm so hurt. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, damn, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I don't want to say that was my first heartbreak. Was it? Maybe, like, you know what I'm saying, like real, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I guess it was like a heartbreak, you know what I'm saying, to a degree, because I wasn't in love with him, but you know what I'm saying, I enjoyed our summer together, you know what I mean? And so yeah, so I was like, what? So I was like, so I end up calling him, and I'm like, you know, who was such and such? You know, so and so told me that, you know, you messing with this girl, blah blah blah, whatever at your school. Who is, you know, who is she, blah blah blah. And he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I'm not with her. Like, I don't have no girlfriend. Like, you my girlfriend. Like, all this stuff, you right? So of course, like, and at this time, around 15, like, listen, I was a hothead. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I'm like, what you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe you. Like, I'm just going off. So I pretty much break up with him. Like, I break up with him, and you know, that's that or whatever. So I'm trying to think, like, we might have like talked to each other again, like maybe a few times after that, but pretty much after that, it was just like, we not together. You know what I'm saying? We live in two different cities, and by this time, as the years are progressing, like, he's, you know what I'm saying, he's like about to graduate, and he even invited me to prom. And something happened. I couldn't get down there, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, he was 2.5 hours away, and I was like, you know, I asked my mom if she could take me down there, whatever, and it was just like a whole big to do, whatever. But anyway, I couldn't get down there, so I didn't end up going to prom with him. So so that was that. So we didn't talk anymore after that. You know what I'm saying? We went on about our lives or whatever, and that was that. So then, like, probably I had to be in my early 30s, maybe late 20s, early 30s, and it had to be early 20s. I mean, late 20s, because this one I was on Facebook, because I don't have Facebook. I don't get on Facebook, so I haven't been on Facebook in years. So it had to be in my late 20s, and I ran across his profile. So I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like low key, like, I'm like, oh my God, I wonder how David's doing, because I haven't, like, you know, seen him in years, like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. And, on some, you know, profiles, you can, like, kind of scan to see, like, you know, what's going on with them or whatever. So you can tell that he had kids. By this time I had my kids and been married, divorced. Well, I wasn't divorced yet, but, I was still married. And so when I seen his profile, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I'm saying? I wonder how he doing, whatever. So I reach out to him, you know what I mean? So immediately, like, he responds back. He's like, oh my God, hey, how you doing? Like, you know, how you been? Whatever. So I'm like, I've been good, you know what I'm saying? How are you doing? I see you got kids. He's like, yeah, I see you got kids. I was like, yeah, pretty much, whatever. I think by this time, he's like going through a divorce or whatever. But it was weird, because even us reconnecting, it wasn't like how we were when we were teenagers. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you know, you go through things, life happens. Like, I'm in a whole different state. Like, so yeah, so but it was good to catch up with him or whatever. So we were just talking, chatting, you know, catching up or whatever. And so he was like, you know, I gotta tell you something. And I was like, what? And he was like, do you remember when you had broke up with me and it was like this whole big old to do about, me dating this girl that I was going to school with and all this stuff? And I was like, yeah, I remember. Like, and the crazy thing, it was like, I vaguely remember, like, you know what I'm saying, the whole event. I just remember that I did break up with him because, you know what I'm saying, it was like he was cheating on me or whatever. So he was like, yeah, he was like, because by this time, Betty had a boyfriend, you know what I'm saying? Now, Betty's boyfriend, he really didn't. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. So, he was like, so yeah, so Betty had a boyfriend. Now Betty's boyfriend, he didn't really hang with David and my other cousin because David and my other cousin, they were like really popular, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were really, really popular guys. And I just say that, Betty boyfriend wasn't, but he always tried, I feel like he always tried to fit in like with them, but he was just not that dude, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's another reason too, like why she kind of dealt with him, because it was kind of like, I don't know, he wasn't as popular as David and my other cousin. So he was like, so David was like, yeah, he was like, Betty. So anyway, long story short, Betty and her boyfriend, we'll call him Teddy, right? So Betty and Teddy ended up dating for a long time. Like they dated for like several years or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so when I start talking back to David, and we weren't talking, it was just like, you know what I'm saying, we had reconnected over Facebook or whatever. He was like, Teddy, he like apologized to me. I was like, for what? And he was like, because he was like, do you remember when you had broke up with me and there was a rumor going around that I was dating somebody at the school? He was like, he apologized to me because he was the one that started the rumor. And I was like, really? Like, why would he do that? And so David goes on to tell me how Betty told Teddy to go ahead and pretty much start the rumor because pretty much she was like low-key jealous of me and David, and how she didn't want me and David to be together. So because Teddy really wanted to be with Betty, Teddy went ahead and started the rumor and pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like made this whole elaborate like rumor up to pretty much, so I can pretty much fall for it, which I did. And then breaking up with David, which I did. And so he was like, Teddy apologized to him because he was the one that started the rumor, and low key because, you know what I'm saying, Betty, my cousin, which, she was jealous. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my gosh, like I couldn't believe it. And I was just like, I was so shocked because not only was it so long ago, but it was just the simple fact, like, damn, like it be your own people. You know what I'm saying? It be your own family members that literally will like be hating on you low key. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, wow, for real. And he was like, yeah. He was like, Teddy felt so bad. Like he felt so bad for really breaking. So because me and David like really, really liked each other. Of course we were young, but so what? You know what I'm saying? But we really liked each other. Like we really liked each other. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm telling like how we could have turned out. You know what I'm saying? But again, everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, so so he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He was like, that's crazy, right? And I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And so, and pretty much after that, that was kind of like the only time that we had like rekindled like just the friendship or whatever. And then after that, you know what I'm saying, it kind of just like drizzled out or whatever. But it was just crazy because I was like, wow, I couldn't believe that my cousin did that. You know what I'm saying? And one like I would have never known if I didn't even like reconnect back with David, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing is that, even years after that situation with me and David, I always felt like Betty had something like out for me because, and granted, you know, I think in any family dynamic, right? Especially when you have siblings that are kind of like close in age. I don't even know who kind of does this, but not that they pit each other, put y'all against each other, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just weird. Cause I've never felt like it was a competition between us, but I feel like she may have felt like it was a competition between me and her, you know what I'm saying? And and that's kind of how it's always been in our relationship, you know what I'm saying? And which is weird, and it's kind of like I want to see you thrive. I want to see you be happy. I want to see you succeed. You know what I'm saying? But it was just always weird because I always kind of got that vibe from her, like, you know what I'm saying. She kind of always felt away. You know what I mean? And so, and of course, like, you know what I'm saying, you know, once, you know, me and David had talked again, he was like, yeah, you know, like, she, like, used to like me, and I didn't even know that. And he was like, yeah, you know, your cousin was telling me, like, how she had a crush on me. He said, but I didn't even know that. Like, I didn't even know she had a crush. And I was like, I didn't even know. Because one, if I knew that she even liked you, I wouldn't even give you the time of day. You know what I'm saying? And so, so I'm not like that, you know what I'm saying? And at that time too, I was very like a people pleaser, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely wouldn't have ruffled the feathers like that, especially knowing that I already know you feel a way towards me anyway. And then for me to like, you know, go after somebody that you like it's one thing if you told me that you liked him, but you never told me that you liked him, you know what I'm saying? So, so it was crazy, and I was like, damn, like that's, you know, that's messed up or whatever. So, you know, I said all that to say though, like, you know, it's amazing though, like when people do things to you, like it will be revealed, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it may be longer than you expect, or sometimes you may not even ever get that resolved, you know what I mean? But it was just crazy because it was kind of confirmation, even in that just, you know, a lot of things had transpired during that time, you know what I'm saying? And not only, you know, saying was she one of the cousins that have betrayed me before, but you know what I'm saying? Like I've had betrayals from other cousins, from, you know, my sister. Like it was certain things like that have happened to me in my family dynamic where it was just like, I don't know, it was just really, really weird. And so, so yeah, it was just kind of like, dang, you know, you'll be surprised, like, people that will hold animosity for you, you know what I'm saying, or feel a way about you, you know what I'm saying, and you just being yourself. And really not even always being yourself, you know what I'm saying, because even still then at 14, 15, I was like, I didn't know half of who I was, you know what I'm saying, let alone, like, you know what I'm saying, knowing my full potential, my full power, you know what I'm saying. And it was just crazy because like when it was revealed, it was just like, damn, like, man, you just, it kind of is a little heartbreaking because you like, you know, you hope that people don't feel that way towards you, especially people that's close to you, you know what I'm saying? But then it's just like when it's revealed, when it's kind of like, damn, like, yeah, I guess I did feel that way, you know what I mean? And the crazy thing is because I never said anything to her about it. Like I never told her that I knew. I never mentioned it to her. And I've seen her, like I've seen her several times after that. And I never told her that I knew. I never told her that David told me what happened. And it was still all love, but it was just like, you know what I'm saying? I know now, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it's just, I said all that to say though, like, you know what I'm saying, just be mindful, like, of, you know what I'm saying, who you surround yourself with. And then also too, like, just don't dim your light for anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because people gonna be mad regardless, whether you know it's warranted or not. People are gonna be mad regardless, you know what I mean? And just continue to be yourself, you know what I'm saying? Continue to be a light, continue to shine, and who's gonna be for you, and who's not, they not, you know what I mean? But don't allow, you know, people's insecurities and people's fear play a part in who you are, you know, and play a part in just, you know, how you move, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, you know, I did feel a way after I found that out, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, I can't trust nobody, you know what I mean? But ultimately, you know, it was revealed for a reason. And at this time, I was ready, you know what I'm saying? Of course, it was, you know, a whole 15 years later, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, dang, like, I kind of already figured it. I kind of already felt that, but it was just confirmed, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, but it's all good, you know? And I'm sure, you know, she know what she did, you know what I'm saying? Of course, she's never told me. Of course, she's never mentioned to me how she felt about David, But you kind of know, like, when you look back, you be like, dang, like, oh, I can see that. I see that now. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that story time. But just, you know what I'm saying, just be mindful, man. Be aware of, you know what I'm saying, just false family and friends, you know what I mean, for that matter, because, you know, people will be jealous of you for the smallest things, and blame everything on you, and really it's just like they the one be, you know, scheming and plotting. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the little story time, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Be easy.